fill you in with the details of what's going on with the Nate McMillan stuff. And specifically, it all comes down to the organization and Nate McMillan believing that Trae Young needs to be more vocal within the organization. And let me read you the exact report that has came out. The exact report that came out, shout out Sam Amek and Sham Sharania of The Athletic. And they both put out here saying that it stemmed from the boiling point of the situation to why it broke news. And this is a situation that's allegedly been in the air for a few weeks. And today they came out and said it was a miscommunication between, Trae Young and Nate McMillan. Essentially, during a Friday shoot-around, there was an exchange in which led to Trae Young choosing not to attend the team's home win over Denver Nuggets at State Farm Arena. While Trae Young was receiving treatment on his right shoulder, sources say Nate McMillan asked him whether he would participate in a shoot-around, receive treatment during walkthrough, and play in the game against the Nuggets. But Trae Young made it clear that he wanted to focus solely on his treatment while missing shoot-around and deciding later in the day whether he would play. That approach, however, was not Nate McMillan approved. Since the face of the Hawks franchise was deciding not to take part in a shoot-around, McMillan ultimately presented him with two options for that night's game. Sources said, play off the bench or do not show up to the arena. Trae Young responded by saying he would not be playing against the Denver Nuggets, and the team ruled him out with citing right shoulder soreness. However, now it's interesting because this isn't suggesting that Trae Young is the only person responsible for the organization's latest public mess, that there's shared blame for that wherever it's happening. But Friday, with the Hawks point guard refusing to leave treatment for a shoulder injury after Nate McMillan requested he be on the court for a shoot-around or risk not starting, Young didn't even show up. But most people would be like, Young should have sucked it up and walked to the shoot-around and then decided if he was healthy enough later, because Nate McMillan, as we know, is an old school type coach. But ownership has partially responsible for empowering and enabling Trae Young, according to some inside the organization, knowing he's tied to the on and off court success of the team. See Arthur Blank's connection with Michael Vick. The front office certainly could have done a better job acting as a mediator and making sure the lines of the communication between the player and coach were clear. What are your initial thoughts after hearing the full details?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I heard. I still don't really have an opinion on this. I don't really get what the big deal is. If he wasn't sure if he was going to play, he's not sure if he's going to play. I don't really like Nate's ultimatum here. But, yeah, I guess Trae could have gone to shoot around. However, it's his body.
I agree. And I think the part that they're pissed about is the fact that Trae Young isn't being more of a leader, like forthcoming, and he's not, how do you put it, like leading the troops by example, fighting through pain, etc. You know, when you think of Jason Tatum or Devin Booker or Damian Lillard, I know he's been injured the last few years, but LeBron James, all these leaders, Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're yelling, hollering. Sometimes it seems like Trae goes quiet.
Yeah, not everyone's going to be a vocal leader. Look at Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry for his entire career was more of a lead by example type of player.
Yeah, now
the last couple of years, but I don't know. He's your best player. I don't get how a coach and a player can miscommunicate. What is this, like an 8th grade relationship? I don't really get it.
It's just Nate's an old school coach. But the thing is I don't know if you remember, the reason why he was chosen to be intern head coach was due to his relationship with Trae Young, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know that's what I'm saying. I don't really get what the whole issue is with Nate McMillan. I don't know how they miscommunicate. Like, I don't really, the situation doesn't make too much sense. I get that Trae Young's like the face of your franchise, and you want him to be a little bit more. I think Trae Young is plenty vocal. I think, in fact, if anything, he's a little bit more on the childish side, but I don't really know too much about why this was a big deal.
I agree. And it's just, I thought it was just something that we should touch on, that I think it's being overblown. But I do believe that if the Hawks underperformed Nate McMillan, even though he was given an extension last year, or made given a 4-year deal when he was given full-time head coach, I think he could be moved on. A lot of people are saying that Mike D'Antoni might become the new head coach if they were to move on from Nate McMillan.
That's interesting. I do think Nate should be on the hot seat. I mean, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals not too long ago, and things looked brighter a couple of weeks ago for Atlanta, but now they're kind of back to how I view them as a mediocre, a little above average team, which sucks. But they don't have too much depth, man. So Bogdanovich is going to be big, but now Collins is out for a little bit. So when you make the Eastern Conference Finals, like whether or not you exceeded expectations or you overperformed or what have you, like that's the new expectation now, man. Eastern Conference Final or bust. So I don't personally think, like, I like the DeJounte move a lot, but I don't think that they're a championship team.
I think they're a really good team, and I think they have the pieces to be a championship team. They got the power forward, they got the small forward in John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. They got the two big guys in Onyeka Okongwu and Clint Capella. They got DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Those are all pieces, I think, of a starting championship core. Then you got yourself AJ Griffin and Bogdanovich. Now, Aaron Holiday and Justin Holiday, they make up a good right there. You got yourself a solid 9-man rotation on this team. I think the whole thing is getting the team to buy in. And at some nights, it looks like Nate McMillan has this team bought in. Other nights, it looks like they're not bought in, and that's the big if with this team. Which team will show up? The team that looked like the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, that was relying on their three-point scoring and their transition offense and defense to beat teams with their athleticism and their size? Or is this going to be the team that sputters because they can't find a rhythm? And I think that's just something that they need to figure out because they have the players here to make the pieces.
Yeah, I'm a little on the contrary. Not trying to piss off Hawks fans, but I don't think they have a championship roster currently assembled. I don't think they lack that. I don't know. Yeah, like AJ Griffin's cool. He's got a promising young career ahead of him. Clinton and Onyeka are nice. Onyeka is not quite there yet. DeAndre Hunter isn't quite there yet, but he's like another, like they've like young, promising, enticing pieces. But I don't know. I do think Nate gets pushed out regardless because I don't think this team makes the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals either way, I mean, you went out and traded for DeJounte, whether it's fair or not, I still think, it's going to be placed on him. So, Hawks are an interesting team. Who knows? Maybe when they get fully healthy, they go back on their kind of not domination, but they get back hot. They catch their groove again, and those shots start to fall more consistently. We'll see.
I agree. Now let's move